But then that may be a downside, but it has an upside. They have just activated the biggest plan and the biggest protest they will ever see in life. Amen. It is for me and it is family. But let me say, you guys, you have won me with your love and your presence. I am completely humbled. I was just sharing with Dennis earlier that if I did not believe in Hustler Nation as a solid movement, from 23rd to now, I have no doubt there is something called Hustler Nation. I was telling him before the introductions, even seeing, I only knew 50% of the people here. Now at least I know and connect with the other 50%. But I only knew 50% of the people here. And that has been the inspiration from 23rd. I have seen so many people who have personal stories about the movement, but they have mobilized themselves. I have never made a call to say, hey, tafadhali kujeni home. I don't even have a phone. People have mobilized from where they are. From that, even from the day I left hospital, up Kudawai kuwa empty. There has always been people to come and say thank you and to thank God. I was speaking earlier to Senator Hassan Omar of Mombasa, and he was telling me one day he went to Egypt, and it was during the protest, and he met an activist. And because the activist had been arrested and tortured, he said, Pole sana for what he went through. And that's why I like what Pius said. And the activist said, in Egypt we don't say pole, we say congratulations. Because every arrest is a conquest against the chains. These few rogue police officers and their masters may have chained me, may have gotten a bit of my skin off, may have gotten a bit of my blood on the ground, may have broken a few bones. But the one thing they did not succeed is to break me. Because they just made a more radical, convinced, and purposeful man. I have had a challenge that I represent your hopes and dreams. I will not let you. Thank you. I may not have the opportunity to reach each of you every time, but because like this group, you have landlord, you have Pius here, you have your greater, I believe my brother will be elected MCA. Because in this group you have those people, then they will represent, I will hand over to them to represent and ensure that what we have promised here today happens at that time. I also want to promise you that I am a good student of politics. And this crisis will not go to waste. I will not just remove this boot plaster and these bandages and this plaster on my hand and just walk out as if everything was just normal. Every plaster will fall with a new idea. And they can use their guns to fracture the body, but their guns cannot reach where their ideas are. They are too far high for their guns to reach. Their bullets are too weak for what we have composed, dreamt of, and are going to do in the next few months. Their chains cannot handcuff our movement. And they may kill them if they manage, but they will never be able to stop the momentum of the Hustler. Amen. Yes, sir. Today they may think HNIB is Dennis Itumbi, but like Sam Gateri has proved over the last few days, HNIB will be done by many more people. In fact, for their knowledge, the smaller information about HNIB will never be shared by me again. It will be shared by Randall, it will be shared by there, it will be shared by Hustler Nation with their numbers. The bigger information, we will create a page for Hustler, for HNIB. We are going to make it so serious. There's some information you have been getting and not getting out. Now let them prepare for it to get out. If they had an idea of where they can stop us, let them unleash it now, because it's just going to get more. Let me also take this opportunity to invite you to Kirinyaga on the 13th of February, Sunday 13th of February. We are going to have a Thanksgiving. Our mothers and grandmothers have asked to pray with us in Kirinyaga in a small church which I have been building. All I need you to come with is a flower to say thank you, is a blanket to say thank you, to a grandmother somewhere to go and sleep with, and your presence is much more important. Let us go there, and it will not only be a Thanksgiving. At the end of that Thanksgiving service, and we are not looking at trivial people, we are not looking at the MPs who are elected on Hustler Nation, we are looking at ourselves. This is about us. At the end of that day, we should come up with a youth movement that is larger than all of us, and whose leader is you and me. Because for a long time, if we look at how our nation has worked, we have left it to William Ruto. So that if William Ruto is not in West Pokot, we have nothing that we are talking about. It is then about time that we create our own vehicle, that we can do this kind of meetings. What stops us doing this and going to Tetu and asking Mheshimiwa here to give us a group of mothers who we can go and cook for? The same way tunakuja na mbuzi, we can do this mbuzi and take the mothers of Tetu, cook for them, and even go with a blanket or two or a mattress, and or even go build a house for someone there. We can do that together. Then we change, we let DP William Ruto and the MPs to do their politics, and we introduce a new kind of politics because we have the brains, the ideas, and the time. But unless we create a movement that is above Dennis, that is above Moyo, that is above everyone, each of us, then we are going to keep talking, and we are never going to make this movement become something. Let us use this crisis. I am offering myself to use it and give it to all of us. Let us not create, the problem is we have many lobby groups, we have many groups even within ourselves, but we want to create groups where we create positions. Let's create a movement without a leader, where a leader is you and me. And then we put all our groups, where Moyo has worked too hard with Queens and Hustler, brings it in, where someone else has worked too hard with brings it in, where someone that has worked in with Bogi Hustler Nation brings it in, and then we create a movement that these groups are not bigger than the movement. So the movement, they are part of the movement. So that we all plug ourselves somewhere and we create a bigger thing. A thing that we can be able to say, tunapigia mtu wetu wa Kisii, tunapigia mtu wetu wa Kisumu, we call our guy in Eldoret, our guy in Embu. We say, today, gather your 50 people, tunaenda kuosha hospitali, the general hospital in that town. So in one day, we managed to do 47 quote-unquote political rallies just by doing very small things. Ni omo tu na brush tumenunua. But we can do our small things. Let's forget about financing from the top. Let's do what we can do. Because as we are saying, if you want, don't just think about Dennis becoming something. Let's create more people. Because if we have like 5-10 people getting a position, then you are able to help more people. And I'll tell you, I am one person who will never forget. I have nothing to repay you guys, but I will never forget. When we got in 2013, Uhuru Kenyatta didn't give me a job. In fact, I wrote a press release and appointed myself and my friends and the guys we were working with. So we got into State House on the Ataya Aliona kwa news that he has appointed people. So we wrote a statement, appointed ourselves. We were 5 of us. I appointed even those other 5 guys, gave them positions. That's why when you look at my position in State House, it had very many things because I didn't even know what to give myself. So there was director messaging, there was director something, but mine was something like director diaspora, digital, and something else, and new media. Why? Because I didn't know how to frame my own position, but I was able to frame for those other guys. Nikatuma even the head of the unit, hata yeye mwenyewe akizunguka huko ndio aliona kwa 411 breaking news. Akaona ametu appoint because they had been sworn in April, and by June we didn't have a job, so we had to appoint ourselves and give ourselves a job. When we have a movement, from day one we can force positions for all of you guys. But we have to create a movement and do activities, and then move away from the normal. Unajua hii kitu ya kufuata tu wakati hili ya makoembo, that's why ya pia. Let's create something that we all own. It is not owned by Dennis, it's not owned by my brother here, it's not owned by Sonny there, it's not owned by Jackie, it is neither owned by Caro or Bashad. We own all of us and create a movement that can be able, our mentorship and our dreams are represented by that movement. So that way, after a deep state in a system, they are not going to be looking for Dennis when he's driving to kidnap. They will be looking for a movement. They know if they get Ngunjiri, they will have gotten everyone else. Because if we were that organized at that time, we would have been outside Vigilance House, and even Mutiambai would not be IG by today. But we have to create a movement that is away from William Ruto. So you allow us, in the next 2-3 days, I will share something. Wajua movements, sasa tuzime hizi cameras. Tuongee mambo mengine outside. Tuzime hizi cameras, Don, Landlord, tuzime cameras, tuongee vitu viko chini.